Alright, hello guys and everybody who's watching that video right now. So, lately there has been some confusion going on about what game am I even playing right now. Because for some reason there are people coming to my YouTube channel that actually don't know this mod, Project Diablo 2. They ask me like, what game are you playing? How do you build an insight in a war scepter? Well, it's only possible in this mod, guys. And yeah, well, let me start. Usually, I am not a fan of Blizzard games anymore. I didn't even bother to buy D2R. So also one of the reasons was Project Diablo 2 was released before D2R. And it's just a way superior game, in my opinion. I know many people of you guys probably love D2R, but if there somebody is out there who loved to play Path of Exile and really wanted to be Diablo a little bit more like Path of Exile, this is probably the perfect game for you. So this is the mod Project Diablo 2. I've prepared a little bit, just a couple of things here. First and foremost, how you can play that mod. You need an original copy of Diablo 2 and Diablo Lord of Destruction. These are not expensive. You can pick them up for a couple of bucks on most gaming sites. You can even buy a original version from Blizzard. But you have to make sure it is not Diablo 2 Resurrected. It is the over 20-year-old Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. Then I'm gonna show you what is the difference actually. So why do I keep playing that mod? Here is the official website of the mod, Project Diablo 2, live.projectdiablo2.com, and you can play it for free if you have an original copy of Diablo 2 and Lord of Destruction. Also, everything is stated here. There are some kind of informations. You can read that for yourself actually. Pretty standard stuff nowadays. Server resets every 4 months. So there's seasons going on every time with new patches and new balance changes. New Unix, we can just quickly show them here in that video. There are a couple of new Unix, and almost every season they release new Unix, and it's not like they are overpowered or anything. In this mod, almost everything is balanced. You can literally pick up almost any skill and build around it. So that's what I really like about that mod. There are just a couple of new Unix, item corruptions, which is a really big thing in this game. If some of you guys played Path of Exile, there was an orb of corruption called Veil Orb, and you could slam items with it, and they would either gain one additional stat, they would gain sockets, or they could be destructed, or it would happen nothing. It's kind of similar to this game. You have Orb of Corruptions, and you see he slammed his T-Rail Mites, and it gained 3 open sockets, which is the most perfect corruption to get on that thing. But it's, of course, everything is randomized. You have a 25% chance to brick an item, so it gets destroyed and re-rolled into a random rare one. 25% chance for sockets, and 25% chance for an additional mod. The other 25%, or was it 33%? I can't really tell, guys. Sorry, I didn't prepare anything. So one of the big reasons I love that mod too is because there's actually a mapping system, like you have in Path of Exile, for example. You open a map, clear that map, and that's basically one more endgame goals you can have in Diablo 2. There are a lot of new endgame bosses. dungeons even. That's a tier 4 map, which is the highest tier, but they are considered to be like one of the hardest content, and they are more or less group content. Yeah, constant new updates, new skills. I don't think that video is any good, but yeah, Dark Pact for Necromancer. Almost every class got a teleport skill. That's also a big thing. Enigma got nerfed really hard in that mod. So as you guys know in D2R, everyone wants to have an Enigma. Barbs, melees, paladins, like almost everybody plays with Enigma. In Project Diablo 2, they nerfed that thing, so you don't gain a teleport O skill like you have in the original version, but you rather have charges on a teleport. So you can still teleport around, but you have 3 charges, but they have to recharge every 5 seconds. So that is not like every character suddenly turns into a sorceress. Then there's also quick cast and buff timers, and they are constantly adding stuff to new seasons. In this season, season 7 actually, which is quite young, they added mod support for 60 FPS gameplay, for over 60 FPS. I'm playing with 60 FPS because I'm using VSync, but the original Diablo 2 was gated behind playing around 25 FPS. But they removed that restriction, and now you can have infinitely FPS how much you want. Also, you see shared stash tabs. You can also see here there's a charm inventory, which is really helpful. So if you put them on the bottom half of your inventory, this is considered the charm inventory. They are only active on the bottom half. If you have charms on the top half of your inventory, they are not active. Stackable items, which is also really big. I couldn't imagine playing without that. In D2R, you still have to have one rune. Like if you have like 100 Ist runes, or like 100 Mal, or 100, like let's say Tal runes, you gotta put them each on their own specific spot, which is very annoying. But in this version of the game, you can stack runes, you can stack gems, essences, you can stack almost everything, which makes sense. Yeah, this is a little bit of side information. Also, there's a really good and well developed Wikipedia for the Project Diablo 2 modification. You can almost read up anything here as you wish, guys. Just like some small things I want to mention: widescreen support and improved graphics, more character slots, global ladder, bigger stash, shared stash tabs. There is so much. It's just too much to just read everything, but be sure that you know there's also a lot of stuff nerfed, because stuff like how is that thing called? I forget now when I'm doing a video. I can't even remember the most basic thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for some reason I got a follow even though I am not even streaming right now. Uh, Wonder how that happens, but thank you very much. Um, what is the rune word called? Called the one which everybody uses basically for leveling. I'm just gonna search it right there because I just can't for sake get the name on it. Leaf Spirit, there it is. And you also see what they did in this mod. Spirit was a 2+ skill in a sword or in a shield too, and they nerfed it to 1+ skill, which is one of the best changes in my opinion, because in a normal Diablo game, like back in the day or even D2R nowadays, basically everyone runs around with a spirit shield and a spirit sword. So yeah, it's it's just beautiful, honestly, in my opinion. It's just beautiful that they do these changes, that they nerf stuff which is overpowered, and buff stuff which is considered to be underpowered. So like there's so many changes. Almost every rune word has a little bit of a buff and a nerf going for it. Even passion, like random rune words. They made low level rune words more viable, and yada yada yada. It's just too much to explain. Also, for melee characters like a Zila Paladin or a Frenzy Barb, they added melee splash to every single melee attack, which makes melee characters actually viable for content and not only for boss killing. So yeah, that's one of the biggest changes actually, giving melee splash to melee characters. Also, there's a lot of nerfs on critical damage, on deadly strike, crushing blow, because that was considered way too OP. You can see here, check the numbers by yourself. Yeah, you just gotta look it up for yourself. Server's back online, so I will start my stream again. And just for example, if I start a druid, doesn't matter, it's just single player. I start the game and everything you see, my big stash. For some reason, I don't have many stash tabs, but there's hotkeys for everything. Hotkeys to throw items on the ground. Hotkeys to put items into the cube and everything. I'm just not fancy enough to get to level 1 character right now, but be sure, like, if you prefer to play summoners, for example, in D2R they are just not viable, but in Project Diablo 2, summoner is considered one of the strongest starter classes because you don't need that much plus skills and you let your summons do all the work. So this mod is insane. Also, as you guys notice maybe, there's also a loot filter going on in this map. You can have different loot filters. You can customize them yourself even if you're fancy enough. I can't stress out more how insanely good this mod is. So yeah, I think that was it from my side. I'm just quickly gonna do that level and show you guys how nice it is to play with summons actually. So I can just level the ravens. I cast the ravens. Obviously I'm low level. My character is kinda weak, but still. Summoner is so viable in this mod. So, what is holding you back from playing Project Diablo 2, guys? The only thing which D2R has going for itself is actually the graphics. And that's about it. And honestly, that's about it. I can show you guys quickly my character, which I'm playing right now. I've played every single season of Project Diablo 2. At the moment, I'm playing a paladin. Also, as you saw, the game names are saved. So if you're doing bail runs, you're just gonna click join next game and you're into the game because it auto-fills the name of the thing. This is my character. And if there are some veterans, this is the trade side. If there are some veterans around you, you probably know there's a Dreamer build going on in D2R or back in the day, where you put on a dream on your helmet, a rune world dream in your helmet, and in your shield. See, there's also a trade going on. There's a trading site. Everything is basically like a Path of Exile league. There's almost like 2 to 3K players daily online. Yeah. So what I wanted to why I did say with the Dream World shield. I have a Doom in my hand, which provides me with a level 16 Holy Freeze aura. And in this modification, they added a new rune word, Shattered Wall. It also has a level 16 Holy Freeze aura. So with these both items, I gain a level 32 Holy Freeze aura, which I'm using right now. I have built my passive tree around that. I've maxed Resist Cold almost, Salvation, and Blessed Aim, because that are the synergies to Holy Freeze. And I am also using Holy Fire on myself, just to have double damage, double elemental damage output. I could opt out and go for a Conviction Aura if I'm fancy enough, but I just like this playstyle of having two different elements. Yeah, and as you guys see now, this is like, I'm just doing a quick chaos run. Usually I'm not going for that. I will just map all the time. I'm gonna get that small charm though. And I have a very fancy loot filter, as you guys see. Many people don't like that in that mod even, because it's just it has way too many colors. But for me, it's just perfect. I don't want to miss any high runes. And with that loot filter, you won't miss anything valuable. There's way better loot filters out there. I just put it out there like... yeah, I just can't stress enough, guys. If you love Diablo 2 and you don't mind the old graphics, you just gotta try out that mod. There are probably way better videos than mine explaining why Project Diablo 2 is one of the best hack and slays ever made. In my opinion, it is the best ever made, because it has the base game of Diablo 2, which is considered like the most game-breaking build ever. Game ever. Just gonna quickly do a chaos run here. As you see, my character is pretty strong. I'm on level 95. Chaos run is not even like... People don't usually do chaos runs that much. They usually opt out for going for maps only. That was the Lord now. There he is. What else did I wanted to talk about? There's just so many changes. You can't possibly put them all into one video. Like, I'm playing since season 1 and now it's season 7. They've made so many changes and every season gets better and better even. Like, you can't even imagine... Like, you're missing out on something. If you don't have a problem with these graphics and still want to have a D2 experience that's kind of similar to Path of Exile, you just gotta check it out. So I'm gonna show you guys, for example, the loot filter on a high rune, like a low rune, that looks like that. With the my loot filter, I have just this big pickup line for me. And then there's also the mapping system. I have some maps here prepared. I'm just gonna fire up a tier 1 map just so you guys see. Open the map. You can even re-roll these maps. For example, there's the Blood Moon map, which only spawns cows in that map. And you're gonna open a random area. Also, at the end of the map, there's a boss always. I'm not hitting anything for some reason, but there you go. Yeah, that's basically it. I will just not finish this map because I've talked way too much already. But there was just this confusion going on because some people were like, how can you put an inside rune word in a scepter? Well, it is because it is only possible in this mod. And why did they even add that to put an inside scepter in a rune word in rune word inside in a scepter? Because literally any of the mercenaries are viable in Project Diablo 2. You can get a Act 3 merc. He has everybody has different auras than in the base game, but they all make sense actually. The cold one has prayer aura, fire has cleansing, lightning has holy shock, which is kind of one of the weakest auras to be honest, because holy shock doesn't provide you with anything. And these guys can actually wear paladin weapons and I think also even paladin shields. So you could give him a insight in a war scepter. Also, like the Act 1 mercenaries are changed for the season. They added a physical arrow one, which casts slow movement. Very good for survivability. Vigor aura and meditation aura. And this season, they added even Act 4 mercenaries. How crazy is that, guys? A dark and a light mercenary. It's just crazy, man. Well, that's it for me, guys. I'm just gonna wrap up this video here and put it up on YouTube just so you guys know, some people who are interested, what is this mod even? What am I playing here? And I wish you guys burrs.